This is Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Happy Monkey. Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Yo, it's your guy Brick here, smoking on a gas, smoking on some good OG. For all of Happy Monkey Valid and all of, feel me? Brick is there. I Brick, we out here, man. Happy Monkey got the gas and they lit.
What's going on, everybody? This week, the podcast has a sponsor, ArdentCannabis.com. They're known for the Ardent Nova, which is a decarber, but now they have a new Ardent where they decarb and infuse in the same device. So if you use our code MONKEY, MUNKEY, when you're checking out, you get $30 off your purchase. So please go on and check them out. They got a bunch of other devices. Hey, you might get lucky and find something that'll help you cook in your kitchen.
Wow. Yes. On the motherfucking Happy Monkey podcast today, we got somebody. I'm actually intrigued, and I want to hear what she got to say, because this is one of the people we got to meet while we was on our Michigan trip lately, and she got a lot of boss shit to say, because we were saying a lot of boss shit in that dinner table. You know, shit get real on the dinner table. You know how people go to business meetings and lunch meetings. It's a whole different story. But in them dinner meetings, you know, it get real. You know what I mean? People get a couple drinks in them, and we talk some real shit, right? So this lady talk some money, y'all, and that's the most important thing, that we all come out, especially in New York, right? We all come out for the money, right? So I definitely want to hear what she got to say. You want to get more details about this boss lady, young lady hailing out of Michigan?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have this entrepreneur, Renaissance woman, superwoman, changing the way that we, do transactions in cannabis financially and so many other ways. A young entrepreneur out of Michigan, Detroit, changing the game, paving the way for our people. Our sister from another mother, Cimone Casson.
Look, y'all was giving me all these accolades. I was looking around. I had to look around and say, who they talking about? But I guess y'all was talking about me. So what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What up? Please reintroduce yourself to everybody, where they can find you and what you do, all the good stuff.
Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Cimone Casson, and I go by the Dope Chick. I'm usually the dopest chick on your timeline, because I'm talking about money, stocks, and weed. Y'all, today ain't no different. I'm so excited to be here with Happy Monkey. This is like so mad cool. I told them when I first met you guys that one of my big dreams was in the last year, I put it on a dream board that I wanted to be on your show. So y'all let me be on the podcast. And I'm known as a financial, I guess, guru or whatever. I own a couple of companies. One is an insurance company where we focus on the protection needs of cannabis and craft brewing, from seed to sale and everything in between. In addition to that, I have a platform where we teach people how to invest in the stock market. And then last but not least, I sit on the chair and the board I sit as a chairman of the board on a lot of different committees advocating for racial and social equity via money and weed. So that's what I do.
Nah, man, we want to thank you for coming on the Boulevard, and thank you for all the love you showed us when we were out. Because, your manifestation went deep. You didn't manifest for us just to have you on the podcast. You ended up having us in your city. So your power, your thoughts are powerful.
Man, my powers is deep. My powers been deep. I've been knowing that for a minute, right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
I've been knew I had a superpower, so I kind of brought y'all in.
Yeah, no. I want people to understand, though, ladies and gentlemen, that when we went to this dinner, she showed me a picture of something that she wrote down, literally. And I know you young folks don't write shit down anymore. Y'all put shit in your phone and all that other shit. But she wrote this down, and she wrote a note to herself, and she wrote a list of people, like things that she wanted to be on. Like, this is where I'm gonna promote myself as, and to who I'm gonna promote myself with. And we were definitely on that list. And no bullshit, she showed me a picture of this list that she wrote down. So this ain't no bullshit, you know what I mean? So we definitely take that as a compliment. You know what I mean?
I definitely did. I'm a big fan of the show, had been for quite some time. And it was one of those things that I manifest. And I think I've manifested this business and the life that I'm living right now, which is like so dope. It's mad exciting. And my recent, I try to review it like every month or whatever. And one of my recent ones was to be on this platform. So I said, look at God.
Shit, man. Come on, man. So let's talk some money, weed, and stocks, baby. Let's do it. All
right, well, go ahead. Y'all go on and kick it. You got any questions for me or however y'all want to do it? Let's do it.
You mentioned something about the insurance part of things. Why is it so important for people to understand how insurance is going to play a major part in the cannabis industry?
All right, awesome. So understand this, as we're sitting here right now, and I just got a chance to have a couple of meetings with some attorneys, which I spend a lot of time talking to CPAs and attorneys and compliance and a whole set of things. But one of the things that we were talking about the lack of banking relationships in the cannabis industry. And that's really why I actually started this insurance agency. When I first started out 3 years ago, one of the things that I realized is that cannabis companies could not have banking relationships. And now that has evolved 3 years later, where now they can have them, but they are state chartered. And so just to make that really, really clear, when you go into your Chases and your big banks and you see the initials FDIC, that's Federal Reserve. That means that's federal money. So there's two ways that banks can be chartered. And either they're chartered by the feds or they're chartered by the state. But even if they're chartered by the state, they usually use the Federal Reserve as their reserve, their depository. So what that means is that state banks can make a decision if they want to house cannabis companies that are legalized in their state. But with that being said, there is no protection for lending. So what that means is that because cannabis companies are not federally legal, there's no protection as a creditor. If we lend a cannabis company money, there's really no real protection for that creditor or that bank to be protected if that cannabis company does not pay, becomes insolvent, or becomes bankrupt, right? So follow me there. So what happens is the only thing that really, really kind of solidifies and gives this cannabis company a stake in protection is insurance. Because insurance is state-run. So whether or not you know this or not, insurance is one of the few vehicles that are that we use as a protection or as a financial gain that is governed solely by the state. State is the one who issues it. All of the stuff is all state. When we take a test, it's all state. So when I went in and I said, hey, these companies, one of the things that they need is they need protection. And how do we get them protection? So that means that if you have theft, right? If you end up going, if you're growing and you have a bad harvest, if you have employee theft, if you are a transporter or a delivery, how do you protect all of these? All of these things are done via insurance, right? All of those things are insurance. So, and in addition to that, every single state that issues, whether it's medical or recreational, insurance is mandatory. It is how you are able to reach and meet your financial need. And I don't care what state you're in. And we're currently actually in Michigan, Illinois, and Massachusetts, but every state that issues a marijuana license has an insurance requirement before you can be licensed.
That's some interesting information. So
shit.
So Cimone, as far as stocks, I remember when we saw you when we met up with you, you told us that you might have a revolutionary way of going about that, because as to my knowledge, the only way to currently get into stocks is you have to go through Canada and et cetera, because it's not federally legal. So there is really no cannabis stocks in the U.S. Is that correct?
Not true. right? So companies can go to a public offering under Reg D, Reg A, whatever, even Reg CF, which is Reg crowdfunding. And we'll go back to that. So companies can, when we first started in 2006, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there, they were originally on the Canadian Stock Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange. Since then, the New York, the NASDAQ has now adapted these relationships. And so we have companies that are U.S. companies like Cresco Labs, who are now publicly traded, and a host of them. I can go on and on for days. And so we can be able to do that. Thank God right now we got technology, and I like to call it God and Google. And it's one of the dopest things. You can pick up your phone, right? You can have $5, $25, $30. You go to Robinhood, download an app, Stash or whatever, and right then and there you're in the weed game. Okay, so you can be able to do that. But we have to understand that, of course, this industry, just like anything else that's going on right now, but especially our industry, has seen a whole lot of ups and downs in the last year or so. And a lot of that has to do with regulatory and licensing issues. And so we can go top down from that. You know, the big boys are having the same issues that the little boys are having. Pretty much it's taking longer for legislation to be able to come. And if legislation takes longer, that means that licenses take longer. So to put that in perspective, when you get into a big company that you might want to invest or buy shares, let's look at it. Okay, so they decide, okay, look, we're waiting on ABC state to go legal, and we believe that they're going to go legal. So we're going to buy more property, we're going to get more employees, and we're going to have this thing going in 6 months. Well, now you're paying for 2 properties, but the licenses still have not come through. So over and over and over again, the same issues that we're seeing at the top of the house, we see it at the bottom of the house, and that's been consistent. But yet and still, like I always tell everybody, it's an emerging industry. We haven't seen an industry like that since tech. The difference between cannabis and tech is that when tech came out, you had to be very, very smart or very, very rich. Cannabis is out, you ain't got to be neither one. If you get in and you're able to buy these stocks in a company, we're able to have them, and that's at the top of your right at the fingertips that you can be able to invest, and you can invest small amounts. And so we continuously see right now, since we have social media, we see all of these different stocks that we can actually participate in. If we're able to do our due diligence, there may be a chance for us to make some money. Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah, definitely.
All right, so let's take it to the second part. So one of the things that we talk about is that how we can actually raise money. Now, you can go and get into the stock market and get into and invest in these big companies. And we kind of touched on that. But there's also another thing that has happened with us, which happened in 2014. Well, 2012, it was introduced 2016. So 2012, Obama introduced the Jobs Act. And this Jobs Act allowed for smaller companies to be able to do what we consider crowdfunding. Now, with crowdfunding for us, usually what we think, Kickstarter, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there's 3 different ways that you can actually do crowdfunding. First way is GoFundMe, right? So that means I got a charity, I got a heartache, you're gonna give me the money, I ain't giving you nothing back, I hope it work out for you, peace, God. Okay, that's the first way. Second way is Kickstarter. Kickstarter says, yo, listen, check it. I got this idea. I want to put on a movie. And if you invest in my movie, I'm going to give you a funky t-shirt. All right, cool. But now the third way is Reg CF. And Reg CF is for businesses. And what that means is that I got this dope idea, I got this company, and I want y'all to be able to invest in it. And guess what? I ain't like Kickstarter. I ain't like GoFundMe. I'm going to give you something for your money. I'm going to give you a share of my company. Well, in Michigan, we have created what we consider a local stock exchange that's actually governed. It's governed, remember this, understand this, it's governed by the idea of Reg CF. So me and my people kind of got together, and right now what we're looking to do is to expand this local stock exchange so that minority businesses will be able to take advantage of Reg CF. See, this isn't the first time that communities have been developed around local stock exchanges. Do y'all know that the company that we know as Chrysler right now was actually built off of a local stock exchange out of Detroit? A lot of the breweries or whatever that came around like in the 1800s and the early 1900s, they came from local stock exchanges. So this is a way for social equity. This is a way for financial security and for community to be able to participate in this emerging market and still be able to keep their controlling assets and their controlling shares.
No, that's interesting because, you know, that's part of the biggest issue with the industry that and especially, you know, people of color, that the lack of information and stuff like that isn't out there and it's not accessible to them. You also mentioned that you have a company that teaches people about like cannabis financial literacy. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we teach about basic one-on-ones on the stock market, right? One of the things that I see a lot of is that we are just getting to the point as people of color to actually start really having this conversation around investing. And when we look at the racial disparity between income and ownership, a lot of it has to do with the ownership. And you know what? Real estate is big, but you know what's just as big? We don't participate in the stock market, which means that we don't get a chance to be shareholders. We don't get a chance to take on the appreciation when the market goes up. And we're not really clear about the risk tolerance and how it really works. One of the things that I see all the time is that the powers that be, Wall Street, will buy stocks overnight. And then I'll see on social media after, let's say it was a $5 stock, right? We wake up in the morning and it's $10. And then everybody and their mama on my timeline telling me, oh, go buy so-and-so at $11. I want to say, hey, fool, do you know you just bought a $5 shirt for $11? That's not the time for you to buy it. You look crazy. And then what happens at the end of the day? Everybody on Wall Street sells it off, and by 3 o'clock, the shirt is $4. As usual, you should have waited till it went on sale. So pretty much I talk to you like that, right? And I help you understand basic needs. Understand that each and every one of us have a superpower outside of what Wall Street has. And you know what it is? We're consumers. The best thing for you to buy is stuff that you use. We're consumers. We're the end user. So when we look at things like what's our new normal, I could have told you Zoom was going to be a big hit. Want to know why? My mama use it. My mama uses it every day.
Right.
That was a no-brainer for me to buy Zoom at $72. Why wouldn't I? My mother thinks she's the Zoom queen. And she's 65 years old.
Right.
So that's definitely a part of the new normal. So we have a superpower as consumers. And if we actually, put in place some strategies and some disciplines, we can actually win in the game.
All right. So what do you tell like an average family or like a single couple or something like that? They just got married. They done saved up maybe like $1,000, right? And they want to invest some way somehow in anything, in any stocks. What kind of advice would you give them?
All right. First thing I would say, make sure that you got your savings, right? So that your baby, just in case something happens, the first thing that you don't want to do is have to sell off your stock at a time when it's not good. Meaning that $1,000, I need you not to need it. Right.
Yeah, that $1,000. Yeah, this $1,000. This $1,000 is
okay. So
totally,
they got the $1,000.
Yeah,
right, cool.
This is apart from the savings and shit. All right.
So cool. So the first thing that I would say is look at what your current normal is. So buy in. If you're new to the game, you want to buy into companies that you use. If you utilize Walmart all the time, if you utilize Publix or whatever, you start there, because what happens is the market is going to do what it's going to do. It's going to go up and down, but you have to be in a place of confidence where no matter what, hell or high water, you're not going to sell or do it at the wrong time. So you want to make sure that that's the first thing that you do. Do your due diligence on the companies. Make sure that you understand that this company is going in the right direction. Decide what a strategy is for you. Are you a long-term investor? Are you a short-term investor? How long will you need this money? The other thing that I think a lot of people don't use is position calculators. A lot of people want to tell me, oh, I got to find out when is the best time for me to get in the market and the best time for me to get out. Ain't no crystal ball. Unless your name is Ola May from Ghost or Cleo, there's no way in hell for you to know what's going on. But what you want to do is you want to be able to protect your profit and protect how much you can get in there. And how do you do that? You do that simply by, you're going to be able to achieve that simply by not overextending yourself, making sure that you're diversified. I use a position calculator, meaning that I put no more than 5 to 10% of my portfolio in any one stock. So when that stock goes bad, I still got 90% of my other assets that are still going on. You got to understand, the market is going to do what it's going to do. It's supposed to go up and down. If you buy a $10 company and it stays $10, guess what? You got $10. But if you buy a $10 company and it goes to 15 or it goes to 12, which that's what we need, then you have a chance to increase. Whenever you have a risk, you could possibly have a reward, and you got to be able to stomach both of them.
All right. So now we prepared. I mean, we ready to go and all that shit. You just said exactly. Now, so what do I do? So now, do I call up Cimone? Yo, Cimone, I got these $1,000. I want to throw that shit in the market. What we doing?
So we're not a broker dealer.
Right.
And especially if you're looking at cannabis, you're probably not going to have a financial advisor that's going to do it. And in addition to that, I also want you guys to understand, not only will you not have a financial advisor that will be willing to do it in most cases, if you don't have at least $100,000, ain't nobody studying you.
Exactly.
You're not worth the risk.
Exactly.
So what you want to do is you can go on, you can definitely go to ccimonecasson.com and you can go on and you can take our classes. We have classes there that you'll be able to take and you can learn the basics in the stock market. That's a wonderful way for you to start. And then also with that, if you have less than $50,000 or whatever, you really want to manage that yourself because you want it to reflect your risk tolerance.
Right.
In most cases, if you don't have the time to do that, then look for a robo-advisor that will ask you a few questions like your age, a few risk appetite questions, and then that way it will use a machine to generate what your investment should be.
Cimone is like the financial guru out here for our people. Let me ask you a question.
And look, the guys are like, I cannot believe all of that comes out of that pretty mouth.
Yeah, because people need the real simple facts. Like, people need to know how to enter the stock market in general. Because, you know what I mean? In layman's terms. What do I do with this $1,000?
And that's the thing. I try to break it down so that people understand. This is the thing. You know, when I started out in the market, it was me and two white guys, right? And they would tell me about, oh, you can't do this, or you can't. And what I learned is, y'all, this is not funny. People in the stock market or in investments, period, they just use these made up ass words. They want to be smart. It's not that hard.
Right.
Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I watch Bloomberg and I don't understand it. Look, let me tell you something. If once you break it down, it's like it's not that hard. That's really just a word. It's nicknames. Like people say sticky stocks. I'll tell you sticky, and you like, what does that mean? Man, it mean that you can't resell it. It's sticky. It's sticky. That's it. It ain't nothing else. It's not like this is.
They got
scary.
slang, so the stock market got their own slang, basically.
Right. This is not like Latin. This is all bullshit. It's easy. You just got to know what you're doing.
Now, Cimone, let me ask you a question. Earlier, you mentioned about the local stock market thing that has been done before, and you're doing it in Michigan. Would something like that be possible here in New York State, New York City?
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I plan on taking this show on the road.
Okay.
You know, y'all know I tell y'all all the time I'm the best thing going. But with that being said, this is something, whether or not with me or anybody else, this is something that any entity can be able to do. Of course, now let me say this. There is a lot of hard work that goes along with it, right? Because this has to embody not only public policy, but also some, equity and a host of other things and compliance and attorneys. I'm telling y'all this, but it is a lot of work. But can it be done? Yes. And let me tell you this. It has been done before. Like, I would love to tell you that this is just my baby that I pushed out. No, I was smart enough to adapt it to a industry that needed it, right? But we have seen this before. Seattle has had one. Honolulu has had one. Georgia and Kansas right now have a local stock exchange. The issue of it is that guess what? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So these things are going on in these states and in these municipalities, but nobody's telling anybody. And that's why we don't know. So check it out. It's states right now or municipalities that can actually create local stock exchange, not just for cannabis, but for any business. And nobody knows about it. It's money that these Black people can get their communities to do, and ain't nobody saying nothing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the reason I asked about New York is because since Wall Street is here, I'm sure, they won't be happy about that, and there'll be a little opposition.
You know what? Yes and no. They wouldn't be happy about it, but can I tell you something? They're not going to be mad about it. Let me tell you why. A Reg A plus or a Reg D is 200, 50 to $200 million. Reg CF allows you to do $1 million to $2 million. They don't even want that shit anyway. They don't give a damn. That's not even money that they want. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't meet their risk tolerance. They ain't even got time to be dealing with y'all. So it doesn't interfere with them. So if, just to put it in perspective, if the people in Harlem decided that they were going to raise up money so that they can buy property or real estate trust or whatever, or they were going to have businesses, it's only $1 million. You think the guy on Wall Street that's moving billions of dollars a year gives a damn about that?
Nope.
He don't care about you. He ain't gonna say nothing. Why would he care?
He gonna be happy like I
don't even care.
I don't even want to deal with them pennies. I don't care.
No, they wouldn't. They don't even want that money. That doesn't even meet their risk tolerance. If anything, they probably will feel sorry for you and help you out.
Cimone, now we gotta get to understanding where was this Renaissance woman created? How did she grow up?
About Cimone,
and how did she get? Where did this ambition and this knack to take over the world come from?
Oh, okay. So I can't tell y'all everything because I have the kids. But so look, I grew up in a small town in Michigan, Muskegon, Michigan, right? And so I went to school in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, Western Michigan, and then I went to Chicago, right? And when I went to Chicago, it wasn't nothing they could do with me, right? So I have been featured in, there was nothing they could do with me. I've been featured in the Sun Times and had, Black Enterprises that had several businesses or whatever. And I started out in the beauty and the fashion. I actually went to fashion school. I went to art school originally. Ergo, the back wall, y'all can't see it. But anyway, I went to art school. I was an artist. Yeah, but they're going to see the screenshot. But I went to school as an artist, right? And so later on, as I did it, I figured out art was just the vehicle. I really loved business. And business, like literally, y'all, I'm so weird, like really weird. Like I'm the chick that you call like at 4:00 in the morning. I'm like, they like, what you doing? I'm like watching the Chinese stock market. The yen is down. You like, really? Is that what you do? I'm like, yeah, what you doing?
Are you sober? Pick me up.
I say shit like Dow Jones in regular conversation. It might be a Saturday night, and you like, what you doing tonight? Oh, I'm rereading Warren Buffett's last essay. But it was something that came really, really natural to me. And there's pretty much no business or investment strategy or whatever that it's like a first language to me. You know what I mean? It just comes natural to me. If you tell me something about business, I usually can catch on to it really, really quickly, and I'm able to convey it. So that was really, really the catalyst for me. I worked as a financial advisor I started off as a banker, did their program, became licensed, became a financial advisor. And then at that time, I was managing about $100 million in assets. So this was really, really fun, but I was not happy. I was not happy. I was making this money and I was not happy. And I was to the point I just couldn't take it anymore. So I quit my job. I didn't know what I was going to do. I came back home and had no clue what I was going to do. I really didn't. Something told me to go back home. And then the marijuana industry, they were going Prop 1 for recreational. And as I told you before, that's when I started the insurance agency. And I just knew that as a Black woman, for me to participate in this market, I had to bring my brothers and my sisters with me. So I knew I was going to make a lot of money. I just needed to help some other people do it. I would have never worried about me. I was worried about them. And so with that, I decided that I would become an advocate for the participation. And I don't talk about things that I don't know about. If you ask me about something about tech, I'm gonna be like, that's not my business. I don't really care. But I do know about money. And so if I could create pathways for people of color to make money in this green rush, then I done did my job.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job, darling.
Word. That means you go protect us when we go to Michigan, right, man? Because we trying to get this train line over there, and you going to be the Michigan insurance or something. You going to do something.
Oh, man, look, listen, y'all my man's 50 grand. We people. So whatever it is that I can do
y'all
for y'all.
My man, 50 grand.
Now this is what I want to know, Cimone,
do.
that you haven't told us is like, you did all that. What was the epiphany to get down with the green rush and apply to cannabis?
What was the epiphany for me to do it?
Yeah, for you to apply all these things to cannabis because you did it in different sectors.
Oh, yeah. So check it. Okay, so this is like a real crazy story, right? Okay, so I had a mentor. I got a mentor, right? And his name is Eric Grant. And this is the dude. He went to Howard University. He real pro-Black, but he a financial advisor, right? And so he used to always be like, Cimone, you the motherfucker. You the motherfucker. That's what he would always say. So he sent me to City Hall. He said, when you go down there, you're going to go to City Hall and you're going to tell them that you're going to convert all of their assets to whatever. And you go in there with pride and you're going to tell them you the motherfucker. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the motherfucker. I go in there. They was like, yo, chick, I hope this work out for you. We don't fuck with you and we don't want them to.
We don't want no smoke.
So I call him back and I'm crushed. But at this time, I keep seeing on television over and over again about this Proposition 1, right? And that was the recreation going to adult use, right?
What year was this, Cimone?
This was
2017 or something? Yeah.
17. This is 17, right? 17, late 16, early 17, right? So the whole time, we about to go, because they passed it November 17th. So the whole time I keep seeing this thing, right? So I had a friend, right? So my dear friend asked me, I was, like researching, he said, man, what you gonna do now that you done moved back to Michigan? And y'all, I had I said, I'm gonna insure marijuana businesses. And he said, can you do that? I said, shit, I don't know, but let's figure it out.
Right.
That was really how the conversation went. I was like, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Look, y'all, check it. I'm the type of chick, I'm gonna roll the dice. One of my favorite words is, shit, just go with it. I mean, let's see how this works out. What's the worst that can happen?
Oh,
man.
Shit,
try
man.
it.
One of my favorite
I'm
sayings
definitely that
is,
chick that you...
one of my favorite sayings, Cimone, is if you ain't got the energy to win, you're going to lose, and you definitely got the energy to win, so you're going to win.
You're going to win, but I would listen. You can be like, look, let's go and jump this fence. We don't know what it is. And I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's try it. I mean, give me a shot. We can go with this. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens with this.
Now, Cimone, we ask everybody that come on the show, and we want to know your story.
Yeah.
How was your first time ever actually smoking cannabis?
Young Cimone.
Okay,
Give me back in the day, Cimone.
College Cimone, whenever that time was,
it was
first
back
time.
in the day. Right. So first time I was smoking weed like in high school.
So tell us that first time.
Was it a
Yeah,
joint?
it was like in high school, like smoking weed. I think, you know what? I think I was stuck. But no, I'm not gonna tell y'all that story. Listen to this story. Check this one out.
Uh-oh.
So I smoked weed, you know, in high school or whatever. But when I first this is funny. So when I first got back into, you know, in Chicago, you know, wasn't smoking no weed and nothing like that. I was a financial advisor. Not that that matters,
Yeah,
but you
you
know,
was
my
on
life
your-
was a little bit different. Right. So I get invited to this infusion dinner.
Whoa.
Right? Y'all check this out. So we go to this dinner.
This is Chicago.
And no, this is
back
in
in
Michigan.
All right.
Yeah, so this
All
this shit is like this. I'm
Yeah.
talking about like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay,
This is
okay, yeah.
hilarious.
This all right.
So y'all know I think I'm a real boss chick, right? So I ain't even smoked no weed or nothing. I ain't had nothing to do with no weed. But I'm like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing but weed. So we go to this thing and we have 3 courses. So it's a 3-course meal, right? At the end, so I'm sitting there with 2 white girls, right? So by the time the dessert comes, the white girl says, woo!
It hit her.
She say it just kicked in. Now
What
nothing
the
has
fuck?
happened to me yet, right? So nothing has happened to me yet. So the chef comes out, and the white chick on the other side says, "Hey, how much THC is in this?" This dude says, "I ain't figured that part out yet." Y'all look, wait a minute.
That sounds like destruction.
I'm like, damn,
no.
I gotta go home. So because, and mind you, it's people in here that are potential clients. So you already know I can't be off my square.
Oh,
so I'm like,
yes.
all right, cool. Look, I'm gonna get up out of here. y'all know them edibles, you can't control it when you
No,
get it in there.
That's
Let
it.
me tell y'all something. I rubbed my damn feet on the couch for 4 fucking hours. I was in the corner talking to myself. I was like, when you get up in the morning, I was so high, I was ready to quit my own job.
Oh,
I had
man.
never been that high before in my life. I was ready to quit my old job. So I had got high. That was the thing. The edible, I rubbed my feet on the couch for 4 hours. That was my trip. But it was a good high, but I'm telling you right now, I could never do edibles again. It's got to be smoke.
Yo, the
That was
edibles
that's
hit different.
That's my funny story.
Edibles hit very different, man. I tell everybody, it ain't the same when you smoke it. When you eat it, it's a whole
It ain't
different
the
experience.
same, man. It's not
It's
the
a
same. I
whole
rubbed
different
my feet
experience.
on the couch for 4 hours, y'all. That was too
Yeah,
funny.
man. You know, when
That
you
was too
smoking, you
funny.
getting
I got
high
up in
right
the morning
there.
and laughed at myself. I was like, this is hilarious. You sound crazy.
Simone,
So that's my weed story.
In
I'll
your
take it.
opinion, in the time that you've been in the cannabis industry, what you see, what you predict, what kind of opportunities is there for people of color to create generational wealth and stuff like that? What do you see that, you know, this can do for our people and for marginalized people in the country? Since you know the financial better than the
this
regular
is the
person.
thing. Oh. Yeah. So this is the thing. There's a couple different ways that you can go about it. If you got real small money, you know, and mind you, there's nothing wrong with that. But definitely getting into the industry via the stock market, buying small stocks is definitely an opportunity. Why do we say that? Because think about it like this. We don't, and mind you, we don't know which one will be, right? But let's think about if you bought Amazon when it was $12 or Netflix when it was $5. So you have a chance in this industry to invest. You have an opportunity in this industry to invest in the next Kleenex of cannabis, right? Something that's going to be synonymous. And so, of course, that takes
like
doing
Happy
due
Monkey.
diligence.
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
everything. Right, but I'm just saying you do have the opportunity. So if you have smaller amount of money, then you can participate in buying shares. Bam, we talked about that. Other thing is that people of color, we need to understand that it is imperative for us to get into this market. But with this market, we have to learn how to pool our experiences and our assets together for us to be able to win. So what does that look like? Look, if you got a big homie that's been growing since the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or whatever, and he's been able to grow, but you got the money, you got the funds. Don't be scared of this man. Oh, I don't want him to get more money. No, y'all need to come together. You need to come together and put your expertise together, right? We need to be able to be positioning ourselves where we are going to have. I hear all the time, it's people, oh, my cousin is a doctor, he paid. Well, your cousin is a doctor and he knows that there's medical research behind it. You've been sitting up here growing since the 90s. Y'all look crazy if y'all don't come together and put something together. So we got to be able to put together our assets and our experiences. Next thing is making sure that we're looking at if we don't have a whole lot of money, long money, because we know that Black and brown money have more short-term money than our white counterparts do. Right, so we're more short-term, they're more long-term. But with that being said, look at those licenses that are low-hanging fruit. Massachusetts has the delivery license. Michigan has the micro business license. Although these are not necessarily licenses that are going to create big wealth, but you can be able to create a great income that you can be able to build and build from, right? And be able to stay in the game and then be able to have multiple businesses in the industry.
Nice. Nah, yeah, me and Ramon always talk about it, but it's good to hear it from somebody like you that has the financial expertise that you have, because this is like a once in a 1,000-year opportunity to get in on something like this when it's in its infancy on the ground floor, which I believe is going to change the world. And there's not many opportunities like that left for people from the bottom of economic society, people of color, etc. So it's like, we always trying to urge people to really, anything you do in life, if you want to get involved in this industry and you have any set of skills, it can be applied to here if you do your due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah. Ancillary products are very, very important. Being ancillary. Yeah. Yeah, so that's another thing. If you are a web designer, you can participate in it. Like us, I got an insurance company. You don't have to necessarily touch it. There's so many different things that you could do.
Now,
there's nothing.
After us just coming back from Michigan, and really seeing that, that is the third biggest, economy in the cannabis industry in the country. It has the potential to be even bigger.
Yeah, we killing it.
What do you see? What do you see like for the future over there as far as like the cannabis industry as it goes evolving? Because a lot of people don't know that. We just learned this on our trip that the whole state isn't even rec. Only certain municipalities are. Some are med, some are rec. When it fully goes over there, what are the full optimal potential you see is for the state?
As far as so make me understand just a little bit better what you're saying. You're saying what do we feel like the full? There's
what is the
different
potential for the
layers
future?
that we have.
Yeah, because
the potential for the future. Well, so one of the things that that as of right now, me holding as the chairwoman of the business development for the Michigan Marijuana Regulatory Agency, one of my tasks is creating pathways to access to capital. What I will say is that our board of our director has, in my eyes, been diligent at this time about creating racial equity. So there's a racial equity department that we work alongside with, and my subcommittee, our job is to create those pathways. What that means, and then also partnerships. There's about 5 different subcommittees. I share that to say is that if done correctly, I think that Michigan can actually create a very viable program. We have looked at what has worked and hasn't worked in other states such as California, Colorado. Illinois started real good, and then they dropped the damn ball. But with this being said, I think that if done correctly, if racial equity programs are created, and they create, and I say this all the time, not a Section 8 check for marijuana, but viable ways to create generational wealth. And there's a difference. And so I tell my committee all the time, anytime you can continue to create unilateral relationships, you create a platform for a victimized or predatory situations. In short, in life, you either the hoe or you the pimp. You need to decide which one you're going to be. So if the state can be able to create these pathways that we can be able to leverage ourselves and not give us bones or whatever, but things like the local stock exchange, things like partnering with major corporations, giving them incentives to be able to partner in the community, holding their feet to the fire on different things that they'll be able to do. And we don't have a sharecroppers mentality. There's a whole lot of shit we can do.
Words. Now, Cimone, I forgot to mention, aren't you the president for Minorities for Medical Marijuana in Michigan?
Yes, I am. And big ups to my mentor and the queen, Miss Roz McCarty.
Yes.
Shout out to Roz.
That's the homie.
What up, though? What up, though? So I have to say, yes, that's probably one of my best things that I get a chance to do is I get a chance to be the Michigan chapter president for M4MM, and we've done a whole lot. We've participated in expungement programs. We feed the men in the exit program, which are men that are coming out of the local jails. We feed them for a holiday. What else do we do? So we do a whole lot of education. We have a boot camp that Roz has created, and it's traveling all over in Michigan. We got next. So, very excited about the education platform, and I love being the chapter president.
Man, you're a Renaissance woman, man. You're really putting on for the industry, for the culture, for the state, everything, man. Now, I'm really interested to hear your opinion because you are definitely an intellectual woman, man. And we ask every guest that ever comes on Happy Monkey, Cimone, if you had to describe Happy Monkey, the movement, everything you've heard about it in one word, what would it be and why?
For the culture.
Why for the culture?
Well, one thing is that I think when I started out in cannabis, there was very, very few people that looked like me, right? That were faces of cannabis, right? I think we probably have seen Black cannabis or, cannabis in the last year or so, especially in Michigan. I'm going to tell you, y'all, when I first started, the caregivers, I had to have the Nation of Islam serve as my security. Them caregivers say, this Black chick, she don't want to do nothing but help the niggas and the corporate thugs. My life would be threatened all the time, right? And they really, really did not want Black people in this space. A lot of the caregivers were growing it in, RVs and trailer parks and all that other stuff. So when I fast forward now and I look at the movement of, African Americans or people of color, period, we don't smoke any more or less marijuana than weed, but we have to be able to share that there's a different type of culture. Before, festivals and weed used to look like if you got one Bob Marley song, you was doing good, right? Mm-hmm. If you got one or two Bob Marley songs in Michigan, you were doing really good. So I love the fact that you guys are blending the culture, you're blending hip hop, you're letting people know that, hey, we not only do we want a seat at the table in the legal marijuana, but we want to do it our way. So that's why I say y'all doing it for the culture.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Cimone, man, this has been definitely so informative, so educational. You know, it's good for our people to know out there in Happy Monkey world that there's people like Cimone that can help you, guide you to the promised land in this cannabis industry and in finance in general. We want to thank you for coming on here on the Boulevard with Ramon and Vlad. Now, before we go, we need you to tell all the people where they can find you and what should they expect for the future 2021 as far as Cimone Casson.
What's up? Okay, so you can find me on everything. Everything is C, the letter C, and then CIMONE CASSON, which is C Cimone Casson. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Christian Mingle, Tinder,
LinkedIn, all the good shit.
Look, one of my friends told me about another app. They say Black. Anything that you looking for me on, look, Black People Meet. Anything that you looking for me on,
you're in the building.
Black Planet. It's always CCimoneCasson.com. Y'all can go to my website. Go there. You can check out where the classes and everything is.
Yes.
You can be able to get tips. You can join our newsletter, our money team. We also have an online community where we post up different investment opportunities, like different companies that are looking for investors and different other things that are going on there. So you can always go on there. Everything is on the website. If you are a cannabis business, or if you're an insurance agent and you're looking for a JOB, what you can do is you can go to Cannabis Capital, which is CANNASCAPITAL, cannabiscapital.com, and that's our insurance agency. We insure everything from seed to sale, everything in between. If you are in Michigan, Illinois, or Massachusetts, we have everything from life insurance products, and we even, look, do y'all know I'm one of the few chicks that I even got y'all check this out. I have a product, a supplemental product that if you a heavy weed smoker and you can go into our network, you can get your weed for up to 50% off. It's a supplemental Part A plan that you can pay $24.95 a month, and then you go to the certain dispensaries, they're gonna give you your weed for 50% off. Just like having eyeglasses. It don't get no better than this, baby. It don't get no better than
hookup.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cimone came on the Boulevard. She dropped jewels,
we have
game,
fun.
financial, gave you a little bit of everything,
love.
ladies and gentlemen, out there in Happy Monkey World. We appreciate you, Queen. Keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? We hope that, you know what I mean, you take it to as far as you can, because, man, people need the information, and we need more
that
black
money.
queens like you holding down the fort and bossing up the way you are. We appreciate you. Now, to everybody out there.
Thank you so much.
To everybody out there, we know that it's been a tough year.
Yes,
but you got to remember, you're too blessed to be stressed. Things will get greater later. For now, checking out Vlad, Cimone, Ramon. To the next episode. Peace, love, and happiness.
What's good, everybody? This is your nigga Ralph, trying to keep you fresh with the info from Happy Monkey every single podcast. You already know what it is. If you haven't followed us yet, follow us on Instagram at HappyMunkey_ or Happy Monkey Goodies. Now remember, that's monkey with a U. Also, if you haven't checked us out, we're on YouTube. So check out our channel, HappyMunkeyTV. Keep us current, live, and everything with the culture.